A stretch of lonely shoreline. The wind howls through the tall grass. The Atlantic tide rolls in, cold and merciless, and buried beneath the sand are secrets. Secrets that for more than a decade have haunted police, journalists, and families alike. Because here, on a strip of New York coastline, someone hunted, someone killed, and someone got away. This is case file number 005, the Long Island serial killer, and the latest updates from police. Case file 005. Subject, the Long Island serial killer, also known as the Gilgo Beach Killer. Location, Long Island, New York. Years active, at least 1996 through 2010. Confirmed victims, at least 10, possibly more. It begins with a phone call, a missing person report. A woman named Shannan Gilbert vanishes in May 2010 after a frantic 911 call near Gilgo Beach. Police search for her, and instead stumble on something horrifying. 4 bodies, wrapped in burlap, discarded in the brush just off the highway. 4 women, all young, all sex workers who had advertised online. And soon, more remains are found, 11 sets of human remains in total. Stretching along Ocean Parkway, a desolate road running between the marshland and the sea. For years, the case drifts. Suspects emerge, leads collapse, families wait. But in 2022, after more than a decade of frustration, a new task force is formed. And in July of 2023, police announce an arrest. A man named Rex Heuermann, an architect from Massapequa Park, Long Island. A father, a husband, a seemingly ordinary suburban neighbor. Now police continue to piece together what happened, and who else might still be out there. May 1st, 2010. It's just after 4:30 in the morning. The night is still, damp with ocean air. 24-year-old Shannan Gilbert runs through a gated community in Oak Beach, Long Island. She is panicked, disoriented. She calls 911, gasping that someone is after her. "They're trying to kill me," she tells the operator. She bangs on doors, pleading for help. Then, silence. Shannan vanishes into the marsh. Police begin searching, but the marsh is dense, swampy, difficult to navigate. They expect to find Shannan. Instead, on December 11th, 2010, a K-9 unit makes a grim discovery just off Ocean Parkway. Wrapped in burlap, the remains of 24-year-old Melissa Barthelemy. 2 days later, 3 more women are found, all within a quarter mile. Megan Waterman, 22, Amber Lynn Costello, 27, and Maureen Brainerd Barnes, 25. 4 women, 4 lives extinguished, 4 families destroyed. The media descends. The term Long Island serial killer spreads across headlines. But as investigators expand their search in the months ahead, more bodies surface. In total, 11 victims. Not all fit the same pattern. Some were dismembered. Some were found miles apart. One was a toddler. And the question begins to emerge. Is this the work of one killer, or more than one? For years, the case stalls. Tips come in. Suspects are questioned, but nothing sticks. Then, 2022. A new police commissioner takes office in Suffolk County, Rodney Harrison. He assembles a special task force. New technology, new eyes, old evidence re-examined. July 13th, 2023. An arrest is made. 59-year-old architect Rex Heuermann is taken into custody outside his Manhattan office. a man who designed buildings in the city by day and lived in a modest home in suburban Massapequa Park by night. A man whose family had no idea what investigators allege he was capable of. Heuermann is charged with the murders of 3 women, Megan Waterman, Amber Costello, and Melissa Barthelemy. He is the prime suspect in the murder of a 4th, Maureen Brainerd Barnes. Police say phone records, DNA, and even pizza crust linked him to the crimes. They call him a predator, methodical, cold, and yet, despite the arrest, the case is far from over. Because there are still unanswered questions, still victims with no named killer, still shadows on that lonely strip of beach. Investigators point to several key pieces of evidence. First, cell phone data. The killer used burner phones to contact victims. Records showed the devices connecting to cell towers near Heuermann's home and office. This digital trail, once thought too faint, helped narrow the suspect list. Second, DNA, from hair recovered at crime scenes. Initially degraded, but new testing methods linked the samples back to Heuermann's household. Police say one strand came from his wife's hair, likely transferred inadvertently. Another came from Heuermann himself. Third, a slice of pizza. In January 2023, surveillance teams followed Heuermann in Manhattan. They watched as he tossed a pizza box into a trash can. Inside, crust with his DNA, a match. These pieces of evidence together form a picture investigators describe as overwhelming. But is it the whole picture? Some believe the arrest of Rex Heuermann is the beginning of the end, that he is the Gilgo Beach Killer, that the case is solved, finally bringing justice to families who have waited over a decade. But others argue it's not that simple, because not all the victims fit the same pattern. Some were killed years earlier, some were dismembered in ways different from the 4 Gilgo Four victims. The toddler and the unidentified Asian male victim do not match the profile. Some investigators suggest there may be 2 killers or more, that Heuermann may be responsible for the Gilgo Four, but not the others, that the Long Island marsh became a dumping ground for more than one predator. Others go further. They question whether all the bodies are even connected. Could some have been placed there to confuse investigators? Could some deaths have been accidents, covered up by opportunists? And then there are the questions about Shannan Gilbert herself, the case that started it all. Police initially ruled her death an accident, claiming she drowned in the marsh. Her family and many experts disagree. They believe she was murdered, perhaps by the same man who left other women along the parkway. And so the mystery lingers. Was Rex Heuermann a lone hunter, carefully stalking his prey in the shadows of Long Island? Or was he just one piece of a much larger, darker puzzle? Do you believe the Gilgo Four and the other victims were killed by the same person? Or do the differences in method, in timeline, in victim profile suggest multiple killers? And what about Shannan Gilbert? Was she the first victim or simply the spark that revealed a buried nightmare? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because every theory, every question, every perspective matters. For the families still waiting, for the victims still without justice, the discussion continues. A windswept shoreline, tall grass bending in the Atlantic wind, the ocean still keeps its secrets. One man is in custody, but the answers, they're still buried. And until the truth is known, this case is still open. Thank you for watching and for being part of this community. If you found this case as haunting and important as I did, please hit like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next investigation. Your support helps keep these stories alive and ensures the victims are never forgotten. Until then, stay curious, stay safe, and remember, this case is still open.